Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities.
Secure the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
Hope. I want them to see hope. I want them to see it's turning around. This place is starting to look nice. There are some incredible people here, and people just have to get out to meet them, get out to know them, just getting people's story and encouraging people to support and building community.
This week on the WACO Experience, an American story, we go on location to rock my style with business owner Rocko Bolts. I'm your host, D. Scott Smith. You can learn more about this program and sponsors and find links to the podcast version of this program online at thewacoexperience.com. Visit our sponsors, White Bluffs Construction, custom building, home remodeling, and I encourage you, call Seth at 254-227-2002 and schedule White Bluffs Construction to build your patio deck or pergola. Visit their website, whitebluffsconstruction.com. Monica Shannon of Texas Healthcare for You is who we turn to for help with healthcare insurance. Call her today at 254-339-3421. Visit the website, txhealthcareforyou.com. That's txhealthcare, the number 4 and the letter U.com. Biddy and Beau's Coffee offers hot and cold beverages, catering, and provides employment for people with disabilities. Visit today at 110 Franklin in Waco. ChordBuddy is the world's best way to learn guitar. 100% U.S. made, this learning system will have you playing real music on a real guitar right away. Learn to play guitar today at ChordBuddy.com. The book, Networking for Students. Most jobs and internships come through a network. Networking is a skill used for a lifetime. Learn more about the book and where to purchase a copy for the student in your life, networkingforstudentsbook.com. D. Scott here, and I am in East Waco on Hillsborough Street in Rock My Style. I am here with Rocko Bolts.
Thank you.
Rocko's a nickname, but we'll stick with it because it's it works.
Right.
It's good. We're here in the barber shop, but that is just one taste of what Rocko has got going on. So, Rocko, let's have you give an introduction. Tell us about yourself.
All righty. My name is Dominique Bolts. Everybody knows me as Rocko. I own Rock My Style Barbershop in the Food Box, Waco. This is a barbershop. It started out as a barbershop, but turned into so much more because I realized that my passion was people. And I wanted to create a space that we can gather together for not only just haircuts, but community building. So with me adding the food truck and me purchasing the building that I'm in now, that we're in now, it just created that opportunity for me to do both.
And you've been 15 years.
15 years.
15
yes.
years.
15 years. June
barbering.
22nd will make 15 years.
Congratulations. That's quite a milestone.
Thank you.
Everyone pay attention. Follow you on Instagram and all that stuff, right? Because you're going to have a celebration for 15 years.
I will. I wanted to have a celebration for my 10 year, but 10 year landed on COVID year. So I was not able to do a in person. We did like a virtual, celebration. I'm excited that I'll do a in-person celebration for the 15 year mark.
Well, there we go. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How do they find Rock My Style?
Okay, well, first you can, search Google Rock My Style. My social media platform is Rocko Bolts. The Food Box has its own page, but I just post on both.
What's the street address?
200 Hillsborough Drive.
200 Hillsborough Drive.
Correct.
And that's Rock My Style. What about a website?
It's rockmystyle.com, and that's Rock My Style without the K. A lot of times people put the K on it, which makes sense, but it's just ROCMYSTYLE.com.
All right, rockmystyle.com. We can find you here in Hillsborough Boulevard. And what kind of services do you offer here at the barbershop?
So all types of haircuts. So you have the ball fade, taper fade, burst fade, mohawk. I also have an esthetician here that provides facials, and she provides body waxing. And I also have a barber here as well.
So how many employees altogether?
It's 3 of us.
3 of you here.
Yes.
Then tell me about the food cart.
Alrighty. I have a close friend by the name of George. He lives in Fort Worth, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and he decided that he wanted to open up a food truck and call it the Food Box. And so he had some success in Dallas, and he started to outgrow the trailer that he started in, so he upgraded to the truck. And we were in conversation, and he said he didn't know what to do with the trailer. So I said, well, hey, I just purchased a building. Let's just put it on the side of the barbershop and see what happens. And so that was 3 years ago in June. He decided to bring down the trailer, and he just gave me the menu, and he gave me the recipes, and, you know, we just ran with it. So we have the Food Box DFW, and we also had the Food Box Waco. You know, I cut hair every other day of the week. So I decided that it would be smart that I pick one of my off days, which is a Sunday, to open up so that I'll be able to do both.
Let's talk about the menu.
We have stuffed pineapples, we have tacos, we have wings, and we have loaded fries.
All right. And your favorite?
My favorite, oh my God, my favorite is not even on the menu. I like to do, so the stuffed pineapples has rice, chicken, and cheese, and then we put a special sauce on top of it. What I like to do is like make me about 4 wings. I put the stuff that I would normally put inside the pineapple, but I just put it in a plate, and then I just put the wings on top of it. So I just kind of like combine the whole menu into one and to make my favorite. That's what I typically do on Sundays.
So the best food at restaurants is always the off the menu stuff.
Right. Even I have a couple friends that own a couple spots, and I was like, give me the Rocko, because it's always like, oh, that's not on the menu, but can I do this?
All right. So how did you get the name Rocko?
My dad, my name was Rocko before I existed. You know, before I was born, my dad said that he wanted his son to be named Rocko, and he was going to have a son. He was going to name his son Rocko. My mom was like, absolutely not renaming him Rocko, but she should, because I've never heard my mom call me by my real name. My family members, my family, everybody has called me Rocko. I mean, I graduated high school and people didn't know who I was because they put my actual name. And this was before Facebook. And so they put my actual name on my high school invitation for my graduation, and people didn't know because my family calls me Rocko.
So I go by my middle name. So I can always tell when people forget my name, but they find it on official documents. They say, oh, it's been really nice getting to know you, Dennis. Right? And I imagine you get the same.
Yeah. So I think because of Facebook, it became more known that my actual name was Dominique. So a lot of times I get that. And there's another funny story is that there's another barber in East Waco by the name of Dominique. And so when people say like, hey, you should go to Dominique in East Waco, a lot of people will come here and it's like, and now I would like, if they told you you should go to Dominique, they were not talking about me. They would have said Rocko.
How did you decide to get into barbering way back?
Man, when I graduated high school, before I graduated high school, I was just torn because I knew I did not want to go to college. I knew I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to high school, let alone go to college. And, you know, that's just a scary part of life when, you know, the world tells you like after high school, you go to college, and, you know, that's something that you do not want to do. But it's like, what are your other options? So I was exploring other options, and I had my best friend at the time. He was playing football, and he was going to college to play football, and he ended up tearing his ACL. And I tell people like his tragedy was the best thing that ever happened to me, because he decided that because he tore his ACL, he wasn't going to play football anymore, and he decided that he was going to go to the barber school. And so I was like, oh, I can do that. So I followed him to barber school. That wasn't my passion at all. But my friend at the time, he was going to barber school. I knew I needed to do something. So right out of high school, we went together. We both went and got our barber's license. And I was working at Baylor University at the time in the dining hall, at Brooks Dining Hall. And I really enjoyed that job in high school. And so I went to Dallas, got my barber license, and came right back to Waco and got my job back at Baylor. You know, the Baylor students kind of found out that I could cut hair too. And so that's how I kind of slid back into being a barber.
So you could have gone to work for another company.
I could.
As a barber.
I could have.
9-to-5 type deal. You went a different route.
I did.
Tell me about how that happened.
Again, I went back to Baylor, and because of the guys, they was like, hey, cut our hair. So what I would do is I would work, and then I would go back to my apartment and I would cut their hair. My mom had a friend in Dallas who had a beauty salon, and she said, hey, Rocko, I want to open up a barbershop in Waco /beauty salon, and I want you to run it. And I said, okay, fine. So she came down and she looked at it, and when she looked at it, she gave me a call back. She said, Rocko, it's way too small for what I wanted to do. I think you should do it. And I was like, do what? I was 20 years old at the time, so I wasn't thinking about opening a business. She was like, I think you should open it. You should get this building and turn it into your barbershop. And I was like, oh, no, absolutely not. And she was like, it's simple. Everything that you're doing in your apartment, you just do it in this building and you pay rent. I started going through the steps. I started going through the steps of opening up my barbershop. And like I said, that was 15 years ago. And it's amazing to see, this is my fourth location. This is my fourth location. It's amazing to see how I've grown over the time, because when I started, it wasn't with a business plan. It wasn't with a vision. It wasn't with any of the things that they tell us that we need, which all of those things are helpful. But I really just walked my way through this thing.
So I know we ran into each other over at the Startup Waco, the startup community coming together here in Waco.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience as an established business owner and with what's going on in the startup community.
Finding startup, specifically the meetup on Wednesdays, was probably one of the best things that could have happened, because you get an opportunity to hear from other business owners in Waco. And a lot of time we see these businesses and we compare our business to, it's nature. It's like, oh, they're great. Their branding is awesome. They have employees that show up on time. And what I've seen is that a lot of these major businesses, the startups, small local businesses, we all go through the same thing. So it's like finding that community of people that are saying, I want to give up every single day. But what makes me successful is that every day I figure it out. And I've heard that story so many times going to the meetup, and it makes me feel like I'm not crazy. It makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, that it's not always peaches and roses. Like, no matter how big nor small your company is, you're going to go through things that's going to make you question if you're good enough for it now. And I mean, it's been 15 years for me, and it's kind of hard to think that, because every year I'm just like, okay, this is it. This is it. But then you also have those great moments and those great times, and you remember why you started, and you remember why you're doing it, and it fulfills you. And so being able to meet other business owners, realizing they're just like me, the wife just had a baby, they don't sleep at night, people don't show up, and you just have to make it work. And so being able to have conversations with people that are in my shoes has been great.
My experience is that you're not an entrepreneur if you don't feel like throwing up at least once a day. Right?
That is true.
Right? You feel like you're going to throw up because you're like, yeah, we're going to starve. I'm not going to feed my kids. Then you're wondering, how am I going to meet the demand of all these folks who want me to help them out?
Correct. It's like you pray for it. It's like, God, please send me customers. And then a car would pull up and it's like 15 people getting out. They're like, whoa, wait. We're not ready. So it's like, that's it, especially with the food truck side, because a lot of times I don't know how much the food to buy. I don't know who to prepare for. I can say oh, we had a great week last week, so let's get extra pineapples because they're coming back. And then no one shows up. So it's like, all these pineapples are going to waste. Yes, it is. It's fun.
Restaurants are tough because of that whole planning.
Yeah.
Especially a food truck, because you don't know if the weather's great, wonderful.
Right.
But you're at the mercy.
Right. Because people can decide that, hey, we're just not even going to show up to the event, or the event could get rained out.
Here on the WACO Experience, an American Story, we've got Rocko Bolts. We're in his business location here on Hillsborough. It's always fun to hang out in a person's business, in their home environment.
Correct.
Because in many cases, you spend a lot of time in the facility here. One of the things that you mentioned, so a couple of things. You've got a family, just had another baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you have two girls?
Two girls.
All right. Yeah, I had 2 girls and a boy, so.
Well, I'm just going to have 2 girls.
You got some time.
I don't think the boys coming. We both time we were shooting for boys, and it was like girl. I was like, okay, at this point, we're just going to shoot for a grandson.
There you go. One of the things you mentioned is why you do this. A lot of times when you have your own business, family members, friends, I'll say people who have W-2 type jobs, right? They're working for an employer. They're in the corporate world or big, small business, doesn't matter.
Right.
It's hard for them to understand what it means to own a business. So when you go to Startup Waco, you just mentioned you're surrounded by people who are going through the same types of struggles.
Correct.
In that you're not an oddball. So tell me about why you chose to start the business and keep it going for 15 years.
Right.
And then add more businesses to it. And we've got some more to explore, but keep going.
I think for me, again, I would say the people. To be able to serve people in any capacity, I always tell myself, like, if I could do it all over again, I probably just would have started a coffee shop at 20, because then I could just sit down and talk to the people. You know, I wouldn't have to like cut hair. But it's the people, really, truly, to build connections with the millionaire to the guy that just graduated and don't have a dime and trying to figure out how to get to $1 million. And everybody in between, to build relationships and to build a sense of community, to be a bridge for when I have one person in the shop and then the next person come in and then they have a conversation and next thing I know they're friends. I'm just like, hey, I created y'all. I created this relationship. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I love people. I love having events. And that was one of the things that helped me grow my brand, is because I was a party promoter also when I first started. So I think when I was throwing parties, I would put Rocko the Barber Presents, whatever the party would be, Time to Get Faded or Cut Above the Rest. I always played with the barber lingo when it came to naming a party. And I think with that, it helped me to realize that bringing people together was my true passion. Being here at the barbershop, I do that a lot. And on top of that, the way a person feels means, you know, the world to me. So if I can, there's a slogan on the outside of the barbershop that says, rock my style, get your hair cut and leave with a smile. No, rock my style, chill for a while, get your hair cut and leave with a smile. And that's what it's about. It's when people come in and they may have had a bad day or a bad experience or dealing with a bad season of life. Not only can I talk to them to kind of encourage them and uplift them, but who doesn't feel better when they get a nice haircut? You know, if you look good on the outside, it kind of trickles down into the inside as well. So, you know, while working on the outside and still speaking positivity to them, it just makes them feel better about themselves.
Confidence has just a huge impact in our success.
Yes.
And you feel good about the way you look. You feel confident. You make confident decisions.
Correct.
Leads to success.
Yeah. They say you look good, you feel good.
You brought people together here with other events. Tell us about some of the things that you've done here in this building and plan to revise or revitalize.
Yeah, we've had barbershops. Of course we've had. We've had baby showers. We've had graduation parties. I did a burn a note celebration here. One of my good friends, Tony B. Shelton, she's a poet. She launched her first book here. She had a book signing here. She actually has a book signing coming up this Saturday. So book signings.
And the book signing here
at the barbershop.
Yeah.
She uses the barbershop for her book signings, birthday parties. I mean, you name it. We've used this space to grow community. And like I said, Safe Space Sundays, we would bring people together every Sunday. Tony would come up with a topic and we would just sit around and discuss.
So tell me about the Safe Space Sundays.
Safe Space Sunday. So this is how it started. When I first opened up the food truck, we was like, we need to get people to the shop so they know that the food truck is open. So we decided to do a vision board party. And so we did a vision board party and people came together for that party and they was talking about the vision and what they wanted to do. And afterwards, somebody made a post on Facebook and said, I really enjoyed myself at Rocko's Barbershop today at the vision board party. She said, we had good conversation and this felt like a safe space to talk. And I was like, ooh, my brain got to like trickling, like, let's do it again. But it couldn't be a vision board party because you can't make a vision board. I guess you can, but you know, who makes a vision board every week? And so I talked to Tony about it, and she's somebody that comes to the barbershop regularly and likes to talk and get people going just like I do. And so I said, let's do it every week and just call it Safe Space Sunday. And I said, you come up with the topics and you can facilitate. I'll run the food truck and, you know, engage in conversation as well. And she was like, let's try it. Let's put it out there. And so that's what we did. And for our first year, we did a banquet at the Palladium and we kind of just celebrated the first year of Safe Space. And it was an incredible turnout. And just to hear people and the impact that Safe Space has had on their lives, it just makes it brings us back to that why we do things like that.
So you've got the barbershop here.
Yes.
You own this building.
Correct.
It's a great space.
Thank you.
Lots of opportunity and parking.
Yes.
right? That's always a key to a retail business,
Correct.
having
Correct.
a good place to park.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get my parking lot repaved real soon. Because it's a little rocky, but I want it to be a smooth surface. So
It does fit the brand, maybe. I don't know. Rock. There we go. Right.
I didn't even think about that. Oh, now I'm gonna leave it rocky.
I was looking at the picture on Google, the Google Earth drive-by.
Okay.
Of course, the way that wide-angle camera comes, it's got a lot of parking lot, and you got all that rock out there, and I'm like, well, of course,
Right. Rock my style. Right.
there we go. You've got that. You've got the food cart. We talked about about that a little bit, and you also have some more visions for the food part of the business.
Right. So what I want to do is I want to build an outdoor pavilion. Right now I have a pavilion up, but I wanted to build more structure, maybe putting TVs outside, outdoor hangout here at the shop so we can have the opportunity to do indoor and outdoor. And I'm also working on rebranding the food truck and turning it into Rockin' Waffle. So right now it's the food box. And like I said, we have the pineapples and we have the wings, and we have the tacos. But I wanted to do wings and waffles a long time ago. And I just, for a number of reasons, I held back on it. But now I think I'm ready to give it a try. And so I've been working with different waffle recipes and continuing to perfect the wings. And I want to put it together. And so June 22nd will be my 15-year anniversary for Rock My Style. So what I want to do is rebrand the food truck by that date and let the 15-year anniversary be the start of Rockin' Waffles. So if you come celebrate, you'll be the first to try Rockin' Waffles.
I love it.
Rock My Style from Rocko.
You've got a bigger vision for East Waco as well.
Correct.
And you've actually made investment, not just in here, not in expanding the location, not just that alone. You've also have more real estate around the corner here.
Correct. Yes, I just purchased another building here in East Waco. A lot of times people say that Waco doesn't have an opportunity. It's like, there's no opportunity here, so I'm moving. And I feel like a place with no opportunity is the opportunity to create the opportunity. We have the space. We have the buildings. We have the people who's looking for jobs. They say it's nothing to do in Waco, so we have the opportunity to create something to do. So why not start grabbing these buildings? And, one day at church recently, somebody preached on the topic developing in the darkness, and it really struck me. I was like, I love that title. And I think that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to find a place, historically, East Waco has been frowned upon. They say, oh, they have crime rate, there's poverty over there, there's no opportunity. So why not bring that? Why not be the light that God wants us to be? And so I decided that I'll do it. And hopefully some people see me do it and they'll come along with me and help me, which they have, because every time I call on my community for resources, they come through for me. Actually, both buildings, I decided to get the down payment to get in the building, that I would sell my T-shirts. I sell T-shirts that says "Who's Next?" Some says "Rock My Style" on it. And when I was purchasing this building, I put it out on Facebook and I said I need to sell 1,000 shirts for $20 in order to come up with this down payment. And I did it within 3 months, and we was able to get the building. So the community is ready to support somebody that's trying to make things happen. And so I decided it was time to get another building. So I truly don't have an answer for what it all is going to be, but the first thing first is we have to make it accessible. So we have to put a roof on it and paint it and, get all the inspections. And then when we have a blank box, we can come to the table. It don't have to be me. It could be a friend with an idea to say, how could this place be light in East Waco?
So what kind of business do you envision going in there? Retail, professional services? What do you think the community? Well, what do you think the community needs?
Exactly.
Right?
And I was about to say, I don't think it's up to me. I think it's up to the community. There's nonprofits. There's, like you said, professional development. I think the community needs, especially in East Waco, it needs a happy spot. It needs something happy. Something to put a smile. I don't know if that's ice cream spot, a cookie spot, a toy shop, somewhere where kids say, the mom promised, all right, if you get your haircut, I'll take you here afterwards, because you don't want to just drive in a neighborhood and just see, which these things are needed, but I think in East Waco, what I would like to see is more happy stuff, not more like social work type activities. Cause I feel like we have a lot of that here in East Waco, but for my desire, it would be something that's fun and bright and happy.
Fun, bright, and happy. I like that. I'm new to Waco.
Okay.
We've been here 6 months.
All right.
And we don't live far from where we're at right now. Just a short
So what do you want to
walk.
See? Tell me, what do you want to see?
Well, I tell you, before we turn the microphones on, we were talking about Elm Street.
Okay.
It's a beautiful walk.
Yeah.
Right? The infrastructure, that street lights, just a straight shot, right? And I'm seeing all these buildings, and every one of them that is not occupied is just a huge opportunity.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Success breeds success. When one comes in, another one's going to come in. A happy place, a bright place, something that's going to attract families, that's going to attract young adults.
Yes.
Right? Everybody has a spot.
Yes.
In East Waco, and I see that opportunity. Mm-hmm. So people that say, I would like to start a business and I need a retail location. You're talking about putting some sweat equity into this, as you are doing with the current building that you were talking about rehabbing.
Right. Because it was a mechanic shop when I purchased it, and it hasn't been used in years. So I was like, it doesn't have to stay a mechanic shop. You see all these places where it used to be a mechanic shop, but they kept the garage door, so they have they lit them up, and it's the indoor outdoor feel about it. Man, the ideas are unlimited. I be in the shower and it's like, or it could be, and I think about my friends who own businesses. I have a friend who's a trainer, and I was like, it could be a gym, we need workouts, it could be so many things, but I don't want to rush into an idea. What I want to do is I want to make it available for when that opportunity come, I'll be ready for it.
So Rocko, as we wind down today, what would you like people to think about when they are driving around the neighborhoods, the businesses here in East Waco? What do you envision, and what do you want people to take away with them?
Hope. I want them to see hope. I want them to see like it's turning around. This place is starting to look nice. There are some incredible people here, and people just have to get out to meet them, get out to know them. Right across the street from the barber shop, a guy just purchased a building. It's the old fire station, and he's turning it into a chiropractor place. And he talked about the mural that he's going to paint and just getting people's story, kind of what you're doing, like getting their story, getting to know them, and encouraging people to support and building community. That's what I want the takeaway to be, is this hope and community.
Well, it's been a pleasure speaking with you here.
It's been a pleasure to talk.
Rock My Style.
Yes, sir.
Right here on Hillsborough Boulevard. Beautiful facility, lots of opportunity. I just wish you well as you continue to develop.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the podcast. I wish it great success.
The Waco Experience, An American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.